Today I'm going to be completing 12 different interiors here on the book club series. And I know it's the book club series, we're not going to be talking about any books today because I need to focus on these interiors. You see, I procrastinate, and I have procrastinated a ton because we have 12 interiors to do because I haven't done a single interior. Well, that's a lie. I did the interior of the storage barn, which is, dare I say, pretty easy. It's just a bunch of boxes. However, for the majority of our buildings, like this saloon right here, it is empty. We don't even have a second floor. There should be a second floor, and we don't have it. No point in procrastinating any longer. We've got 12 interiors to do, and we're going to be starting here with the first build we did, our house. But yeah, I'm just putting in some stuff like that. And what I'm shooting for here is sort of a kitchen area here in our build. So we're going to have this little kitchen corner right here. Honestly, I think a crafting table would go well right there. It just looks kind of strange. But I don't think it matters that much because honestly, I have never stepped inside this room. This room is pretty useless for me. Like, I don't know what in the world I would even use this room for. So we're just, decorating it for fun. But we're going to have a couple little chairs there. I definitely don't like this crafting table, actually. I am getting rid of that. I think I put these down wrong. Yeah, that might be part of why this looks weird. So we got to do like that. This way it looks like one solid bench for us, and then we can kill the fires. Make it look like a miniature picnic table, right? I think this looks good as just a little, eating area next to our kitchen. Speaking of the kitchen, let's go ahead and put on some rails, make that look a bit more like a stove. And then I'm thinking we put a painting either here. That's stupid. I think over here. That's really big. Why can it place through that? Ooh! Ooh, that is perfect! I didn't even know that painting existed. But we do have a western town, so it'd be quite fitting to have that western painting right there. I'm not really liking these torches, so it's a bit too dark without any lights, but I feel like a lantern right there lights everything up pretty evenly. If I was this here darn cowboy sitting at this table, I wouldn't need more than one lantern. I'd just pick this up and I'd be on my way. Although a lantern here would actually work pretty well. Now to the upstairs. So I already kind of have an interior up here, but this is very barren, so we're going to redo it. I think the first order of business is we're going to move that armor stand. I think a little wardrobe cabinet thing right here is going to work swimmingly, so let's do that. Whoa, there it is. There's a wardrobe. We're probably going to change this to diamond armor eventually, but for now it's going to be iron. I think next we probably want to move the bed. Actually, I think the bed was perfectly fine right here. The wardrobe definitely needs to go over there, though. Boom, like that. Little wardrobe in the corner. Definitely like having the barrel right there. I just think it adds more, and we can put a lantern on top to give this room some lighting. We can put this bookshelf back, and then put all our books in there. 1984, Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and The Catcher in the Rye. So we can put a lamp right there, and then an ender chest, and I think this side of the bedroom is done. But if we look on this side, it's very blank and empty, and honestly, I don't think there's much we can do here. We might be able to put like a desk or something, but I was thinking we have these empty maps, and we have them because I just made them, but we've got this beautiful city, and I was trying to think of a spot that would be good for maps, and I think our bedroom is good for now. We can have some maps of the area. And wow, look at that. So we have 3 maps with us, and I'm going to put them up on the wall right here. We're going to have to rotate these, but that does not look bad at all. So then I think what would work perfectly right here is for us to put a little desk. We definitely need some decorative bits here for the desk, and we have a little lily of the valley. Okay, and then I think just an end rod right there works fantastically. I'd say this room is pretty complete, and that means this building is done, which means it is time to move on to the barbecue. Yes, the good old barbecue. Or I guess this might not be a barbecue, it's more of a butcher shop, but I've been dreading this interior for a while. This is the only interior where I don't know what I want to do, so it's kind of a pain, but I planned it out in creative and we got all our materials in here, so it should go pretty dandy. So I was building this interior a bit, and I was like, this is kind of cramped, maybe a bit difficult to view. So I was thinking, what if I just move you guys right there? Ah, now you have a pretty cool angle of what I'm doing, huh? This is going to be a little meat counter. Look at all those meats. We're just going to put some trapdoors down here, make this look like it's an actual counter, right? These blocks are the closest I could find that look like meats. This one really looks like meat. It looks like a slab of steak. And then this just kind of looks like a pile of raw chicken. Oh, I also moved the butcher villagers to this side, so they're trapped forever. And then all the normal villagers are over here on this side. And while we're over here, let's go ahead and change all of these to glass panes. This looks way better than the cobblestone we had up. It's more like a little window so you can look at the meats and order them. And of course our villager friends are going to need a cash register so they can check out all the customers. Wake up, wake up. It's time for parkour. Now that they have the cash register and all these meats to sell, they're also going to need a place where they actually produce all these meats. So let's make them a little sawmill so they can cut the items. And we'll also give them a little scale so they can measure out the weight of the meats. I'm just going to put this up as little wall decor. I think it looks cool. This is also a perfect spot for some lighting. And then we're going to make a quick little oven hood right here. Boom, a little fume hood, a little vent. And then let's put a little roof on this window for the counter. And then I'm going to place these down just so we can kind of display what each meat type is. So the butchers can work. We can have a little workstation right here. Then we're going to have this staircase going up this way. And this is going to lead us to the living quarters for the villagers, which is going to look like this. We have a bedroom for each of the butchers, and then we have this little hallway area down here, which now has a roof. So this ceiling is a little lower down, so when you walk into the bedrooms, it feels nice and open. Now let's go ahead and give these beds the correct authentic color. They are red because the villagers are going to be bloody from cutting meat. So I've made a significant lapse in judgment with these. Who sleeps with their head at the window? Psychopaths. That's a lot better positioning. So we can definitely put a desk right here, I think. Let's put a scaffolding there, and then we can place that. And yep, a trap door right there. So it's a little desk for these guys. You can appreciate the feng shui in this room, right? Look at all those command positions. And we can also put a nice central desk out here, so the villagers have some light, because I don't like the lanterns on the floor. And you guys know me, I like my bookshelves, so we're going to put one right there, just to even out the lighting. Alright, so this is the butcher that I'm complete with now. So we have a little meat counter where you can select your meats, and the butchers will deal with it for you. Got a cash register, little area right there. I already showed you the upstairs, so now we can leave this building because the butcher is now done and completed. Woohoo! And that's going to bring us to the next building, which is, of course, the barn. How about we do a bit of a time lapse on this one? Wasn't that such a cool time lapse? So here's the interior. We've got little hay bales. I know these are probably fire hazards actually, but I don't want mobs spawning up there. That's more of a hazard here in Minecraft. But we got this little compost machine so I can make bone meal. I finally moved my horse in here. That guy has been a pain in the storage room because he'll just walk in front of chests in here. Because this is where I have been keeping him. And I have to ride him and put him somewhere else. So he finally has a better home. But now he has a nice little interior to look at. Well, aren't you just the happiest horse in the world? But now that we've completed the barn, it is time to go and work on our good friend, the mason. I'm honestly not sure if I like this build or not. It's kind of weird, but it kind of looks a little artistic, because this area kind of looks like splotches on pottery, which, I don't know, it kind of fits. First most important thing I want to do is make a mud machine right here, because the main point of this building is this clay pad, and it's been really annoying placing dirt and then walking here, grabbing water, and then turning it into mud. So I want to put a machine that just makes mud. The issue there is that all the tutorials for mud machines require like hundreds of glass bottles. So we're going to need some sand. It's a real shame I don't live near a desert. This is kind of a pain. This pond now looks really gross. Good thing we'll never have to see it again. Boom, 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 kablamo. Here it is, the Il Mango Mud Maker, and it works swimmingly. We can make as much mud as our heart desires. The tutorial to this will be in the description because I could not have come up with this on my own. I did make a slight modification. To the left of this, there's a hopper. This hopper right here, I filled with 4 sticks instead of 5 stacks of glass bottles. It does the same thing. But now that that's done, we can decorate the rest of the interior. Whoa, look at that, it's decorated. So we have the mud machine, that was already decorated. We have a little barrel for my shovel. And then we have some terracotta, just, because this is the mason, they should do that. Got some pottery up on the wall. And then this might be a little confusing. This is kind of where you'd sit and like spin your pottery around. You can kind of see it, right? And then if we go upstairs, we have just like little pallets, I guess. We have brick, we have some red terracotta, their workstation, and then just some pottery on the shelf. And then outside, I guess they're kind of like drying out or something. I don't really know, but they're doing something with this terracotta and brick. Look at that. The mason is complete. And now it's time to move on next door to work on the blacksmith. Originally, this was going to be for the villager with the blast furnace, but we ended up not doing that because I really needed the smithing guy instead. Because I really needed emeralds. I think that... Get out of the way! But we really needed emeralds for that mending villager. That was the main purpose of this. So we'll give this guy a nice little table. I'm taking this, though. If you'll notice, there's this giant hole in the wall. It's a block. But a block no longer. Originally, the blast furnace was going to go in there, but then I learned that villagers can't access stuff if there's a block on top of it. So, good thing we didn't do the blast furnace anyway. There's a little chimney for that. Not gonna lie, it's very minimal down here, but, it is a blacksmith. And don't worry, that villager is staying trapped down there, while we work up here on the second floor. So, over here in this little nook, I think it's a perfect spot for a nice little kitchen area, or I guess not really a kitchen area, this is more like a dining room, although you will notice that this area is quite small, so we're not going to have many items in here. In fact, if you're familiar with small apartments, this might look familiar. A little wall divider to separate the living area and the bedroom, which if it's a bedroom, we need beds. Maybe even a little side table right there with some light, and that should light up the entire area. And last but not least, out here on the porch, we're going to put a little bench. And I think the orange adds some great contrast to the building. But here we are. This is the porch, and you go in here, and we have a little, I guess, motel-ish bedroom. I don't know. I feel like this kind of looks like a motel in here, like a rental cabin. But that is going to do it for the blacksmith, and we can whip on over to the good old used bookstore. So far, this build is the easiest to do, but it's really expensive, mostly because of these guys right here. This tiny stack of chiseled bookshelves is like 3.5 stacks of logs. It's unreal. But at least the placement of these is going to be really simple. So if you're new to the series, this series is called the Book Club, and normally I talk about like a book for, I don't know, 10 episodes. Today's episode is just a little different because I need to focus on interiors. But there is going to be a slight change to the series. Like I said, I normally talk about books for like 10 episodes, but I found that that's not really the best idea. So in the future, we will be doing 1 book per episode. I know last episode I said we were going to do a book every 4 episodes. It's a lot more cohesive if I only talk about 1 book per episode, just so, there's like a full, complete story each episode. So that's what we'll be doing from now on. 1 book per episode. You might also notice that all of these bookshelves are empty. Basically, every book that I read, I'm going to be writing a short essay for. And what a short essay is basically a 1-page essay that goes over kind of the synopsis and base arguments of the book. Basically what I learned. I'm going to be writing them in a Google Doc, but then I'll be copying it over here onto the book club series, and we're going to be filling all of these shelves with those mini essays. I think it'll be quite fun to do that, and if I ever make a world download, then you guys can go through all the books that I've read and just kind of like find the quick synopsis of everything I learned from it. You see how it's really dark back here? It's really not, because what I've done is I have my brightness at 30%. Normally, we're at 100%, so it should look like this, technically. But having the brightness down at 30% really helps make it, I don't know, just more realistic looking. And just with these two lamps, we make the brightness in here very moody, and I feel like that really adds to the atmosphere of an old bookstore. Also, we need to cover this up. This just goes down to our sugarcane farm we made a couple episodes ago. No more rambling from me. We have one last thing to complete this interior, and that one last thing is making me realize that I might have spoke too soon about this being the easiest interior. There it is. My favorite mob in the game. I never seem to have any luck with these guys, but we're going to try again today. Mostly because this little hut that I've been keeping him in is a eyesore on the rest of the town, so it's finally time to give this guy a home. We're just going to push him along until he gets into his new home. Villagers used to have like infinite range, but now it exits out once he gets too far. Mojang keeps ruining this game. Now, if all goes well, this guy should be in here for the rest of his life. You can have your lectern back, and there he is. So this interior is officially complete. The good old bookstore. We come in here. It looks like a bookstore. I'm very happy with this. And it looks super realistic too. Like, you walk in and there's just this guy sitting at his desk, you know, in this old, rundown, dark bookstore. I say we did a phenomenal job. But don't leave yet, guys. We still have more interiors to do. We're moving right next door to the gun shop. Now, this build is going to need a lot of birchwood. And we're out. Guess I better get chopping. Let's just time-lapse this. Did you guys see how fast I did that? I was whipping around like crazy. Anyway, this is kind of the interior to our gun shop. You'll see giant pistol, it says guns, blah blah blah. You walk in here, there will be some fletching tables for if we ever want fletchers in there. Probably not. These are supposed to be like display cases? I don't really know. And then you can come up here. I don't have a bow anymore, but you can just shoot the target. Pretty straightforward, right? Honestly, not my best interior, but I do really like these lights. They kind of look like those fluorescent lights you'll find in office buildings, but it's just a jack-o'-lantern with some birch trapdoors. And of course, this is our gunpowder farm. So there's a nice spruce trapdoor down in the corner for us to go to our chest. From a distance, you can't even tell that it's there, right? You have to look really closely. But that's going to do it for the gun shop, so we can move right next door again to the Hunter's Supply. Honestly, this building is really small and probably does not need a crazy interior, so we're going to make something really simple. Honestly, I made this more as like a building to have in the town. This building has no function. It's genuinely kind of just here for decoration. I honestly don't even know what this place would really sell. Probably like tents or something, I guess, but I'm not putting a tent in here. What we are going to put, though, is just a couple of shelves. We'll have one in the center as well. And then another on this wall to make it all symmetrical. And just like that, we are done with the Hunter's Supply. I hope this interior wasn't too disappointing, but I genuinely don't know what else to put in here. Anyway, that's going to complete that building, and thus we are done with all the interiors on the south side of town. That's kind of marked out by this thing, which will eventually be a cool railroad. But now we're on the north side of town, which we only have 4 buildings left, guys. We're 2/3 of the way through. The first of those 4 is going to be this drugstore. Sorry, I just got to clean up the area real quick. I don't know if there's a point in killing this guy, but he was kind of getting annoying. Honestly, this one's also going to be pretty simple. Originally, I built this so it would hold an XP farm, but the XP farm is a tad too big. So unfortunately, we have nothing to put in here, so this is another decor-only building. That's alright, we can rock with those. One more shelf right here will do the trick. Kind of looks like shelves, right guys? But that's going to do it for the drugstore. My thinking with this town is that it used to be an old western town, but then it's kind of been modernized throughout the years. So you still have the old buildings like the Mason and the Blacksmith, but then you have these new flashy buildings like the gun range. And another one of those flashy new buildings is going to be our general store, which I'm going to make look like a convenience store. So like I said, this one's going to be pretty modern. And just like all of the modern-ish builds we've been doing today, we're going to be using a lot of bone blocks. I feel like the bone blocks look a lot like drywall. So that's why I've been using them a lot. And then we're going to be putting these white stained glass panes right here for the windows. I'm just going to put a jack-o'-lantern right here to light up this window. And then same deal as the other stores we've been doing. We're just going to be putting in some shelves here. Just like that. We're just going to put some books in here randomly to make it sort of look like this place is stocked with stuff. That looks pretty stocked. So now you guys get to watch me do it from this other angle. First step, I'm going to put the pumpkin down here, cover it with a trapdoor. Then I'm going to fill this window in with glass. Just like that. Next, we're just going to place some bookshelves on here. This gets to be a smaller shelf just because the area here is cramped. However, we're still going to place 3 jack-o'-lanterns there, as well as some smooth stone on the sides, and a few trapdoors. Let's go a little higher with the stone blocks. Now, whenever I imagine a convenience store, I always think of these like icy machines that are in there. That's basically a snow cone generator. And a snow cone generator is exactly what this is going to be, because we're going to put some delicious snow golems right here, which makes it so I can just sit here and get snow. It's a little cramped here, but that's fine. These guys probably want a roof as well, so we'll give them that. Then right here, we're just going to make a little spot for a counter. But this area is going to get some glass and an armor stand, and we can continue decorating this wall up a bit more. But basically, there's going to be a counter right here, which of course needs a cash register, which I think that's a good spot for it. And I always feel like these types of places have tobacco boxes or whatever, cigarettes, right behind the register. So that's my little attempt at that. Maybe we pack this one in pretty tight. Although I think this cash register might work a little better right there. Let's give them a jack-o'-lantern here so they have some light. So yeah, I think this interior is complete except for... What is this that's behind me? Ah yes, of course. This is going to be my XP farm. And for that, we'll need some allays. I'm up here on the nether roof just to make this a little easier for myself. Now, if my calculations are correct, this should lead us to a pillager outpost that has some allays. Time to find out. Oh my gosh, that could not have been more perfect. Oh yeah, look at them all just kill each other. Let's get these guys. Bloop, bloop. Perfect, guys, we have 2 allays. And now, we head back. So I'm going to keep one of them spare, and they're just going to be sitting over by the wagon in case we need an allay for a farm in the future. But this guy is going to be in a torture chamber for the rest of his life. Him and all of his kin. So we're going to turn this into a farm. Oh, how long does it take to duplicate these? Alright, so it takes 5 minutes between each thing. I'm going to be here for a long time. Alright, this should be the last time I have to do this. Does everyone have a stick? Well, we just throw a stick down there and they should all go. Perfect, so these guys are all stuck in here now and we can remove this annoying thing. Okay, now we just have to brew a potion of infestation, which is also going to be a splash potion. Now, if all goes correctly, this should be the best XP farm in the world. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, look at them come. Silverfish, and we just stand here, and we swipe our sword. Oh, this works so amazingly. Cool, so we got up to 41 levels. I think we were at 14 before. That farm is absolutely amazing. Highly recommend you go check out the tutorial in the description. I don't think I'm ever going to have a problem with XP ever again. So the general store is now complete. We have our XP machine, just some shelves, cash register, and our icy cooler. And that means we can move on to the second to last building, the Saloon. I hope you guys are excited for this one. This one's gonna be pretty cool. Wow, there it is. Out of all the interiors we're doing this episode, this one is the one I am proudest of. This thing is actually like a saloon. It's crazy. We have all these dining tables. We got one in the corner over there. This is the bar. You'll sit at the bar. We even have a piano over here in the corner. And then you go up here, and we got more tables here, as well as some tables up here. And then outside, you can also sit here and look at the view. What a beautiful view. Oh, and I mustn't forget my chandelier that I made. It is a good chandelier, I think. And it's also fun because you can jump on it. I wanna hang from a chandelier. Or however that song goes. This building would be entirely decorative if it weren't for this ring for service bell. I'm pretty sure this bell will act as like the city center for all the villagers, and I think villagers all crowd at the city center. So hopefully this ends up as like a meeting area for all our town's villagers. Time will tell though, I'm not releasing them yet. It is not safe. They're all gonna die. But last up we have the brewery. This is where we brew our potions, and I also kind of want to make a little seating area so you can, drink at the brewery. That means we're gonna need to separate the front and the back areas. I think a staircase going up here and then up here will lead to the upstairs seating. I think that'll be a good idea. So I think the first order of business is for us to actually make an interior wall, because looking at these walls, it'd be kind of gross. So we're going to need to cover the majority of this up, just like that. So we have some stairs going up to the upstairs area. I'm mostly just working out the room layouts currently. I'm thinking we might open this up actually, and this can be the bar. Yeah, I definitely like opening that up to be a bar. And that'll also allow us to put more seating out here. And then I don't think we're going to do an interior wall on the back area here. I put up a staircase going up here so you can go to this little platform here. I think that makes it look a bit more industrial, but I'll consider the general layout of the interior finished. So now it's time to move on to the details. We're going to start with a really easy detail, and that's just going to be a netherwort farm for this top section. Now I'm just going to add some fence along here, just so you can't like fall off immediately. Just like so. And now I want to add more of these brewing machines. I'm honestly unsure how much I'm going to use these other 3 machines, but it doesn't hurt to have them, Cool, so now we have our 4 little machines, but I think the back area is complete now. So we can move on to the front of the house. Now, what would a brewery be without a few barrels? And I found that putting these tripwire hooks on them kind of makes it look like the spout on a barrel. And we'll make this counter have a little more texture with the trapdoors here. I think that's good enough for the bar area. And that's good enough for the interior. We have these chairs and tables all over the place. These chairs look kind of weird. I don't know though, there's a lot of funky breweries out there. They'd probably have funky chairs. I like this painting because the glistening melon is an ingredient in potions, so it kind of fits the whole theme. And then if we work our way up here, we just have a bunch of big group tables. And that is all 12 interiors. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.